every year the past few years anyway, I've been starting all my seeds off early. I put them in the hothouse and, get out there, kill the damn snails, get everything organised. But this year, not so much. This year, even after a garden clean-up, we didn't finish cleaning up the other garden or keep on top of it. So, this is what it looks like. When you let it get away from you. Crap. Living in the climate where we live is, we're in a cool climate, and we find that, like every year, I start off really early. Last year I even did, the heat mat, the grow lights inside so that I could get a head start on everything. But the problem I had with that, everything went leggy, woody, whatever you call it. I had to end up restarting the seeds again. So I find with our climate, the best time to plant anything is around Melbourne Cup Day, which is in November, because anything that frost can kill, because we don't know when we're going to get hit by a frost. And quite often in October, we still have a lot of frost mornings. Particularly where we are, and not just where we are, of course, lots of other places, but we're really well known for frost where we are. But today, I'm cleaning up more and more. It just feels like it's never ending, and it feels overwhelming. And some days you just want to say, I don't want to do it this year. I've had enough. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It's too overwhelming. But no, I'm going to do it. We're going to plant some seeds today too. And some people might think it's too late, but it's not. I've put seeds in this time of year before and just have a later harvest, and that's okay, because I don't usually succession plant, but but it's okay to start off a bit later. Just won't have anything ready till January, and I'm fine with that. Christmas is too busy anyway. So this video is a vlog about my last 2 weeks in October with what seeds I've sown, what cleanup we've done, and also some harvesting. This is how I store all of my seeds. I have all these little containers. I think they're a photo box that you can buy from Kmart. I have a couple of them, so I have a lot of seeds. I'm just showing you all my sunflowers. I think we have about 23 different varieties. Here's just my supplies ready to go for some seed sowing. I could not decide what to plant this day, and it was not sunflowers. These little punnets that I'm filling up at the moment, I'm not sure where they've come from, because I pinched them from my mum and dad. So what I'm doing here, for those that don't know how to sow seeds, is I'm just filling up my little punnets with seed raising mix, and I'm just patting it down lightly. You don't want to pat it down too much because you don't want it firm. But you need to pat it down, because once it's watered, the soil will sink. And here I am just putting some tags in, ready to sow some seeds. On this particular day, I did my vegetables. I did tomatoes, zucchini, cucumber, and I don't remember. You'll see. Now, there's a bit of a general rule about when planting seeds. They say to plant seeds as deep as what the seed is. So if it's a tiny little seed, you barely need to put it under the soil at all. Like, only put a really light covering over the seed. If it's a bigger seed, you plant it deeper. So you plant it, so for example, if you're planting a pumpkin seed, you plant it double the size of the pumpkin seed down into the soil. Now, I use these little cells for smaller seedlings, so for tomatoes, capsicum, all the little ones, because once they grow to a certain height, I then transfer them out of these cells into a bigger pot, just for them to grow a bit more before they go into the ground. But I find with things like with pumpkins, sunflowers, and really larger seeds, I will not use these little pots anymore. As you'll be able to see here, I'm only planting, well, trying to, one seed per cell. If they don't come up, that's fine with me. I can replant them again. I buy the majority of my seeds from the Seed Collection, which is a little company in Melbourne. They're really reasonably priced, and I have probably 85 to 90% succession rate, which I'm pretty happy about that. They're a great little company. I'll link them in my description box below because they're well worth them. Every year I try and grow crystal apple cucumbers. Now, personally, I don't really like them. They're no good to preserve either, but I grow them for my mum and I grow them for some friends. I'll show you later on in the video where all these have got to 2 weeks later, so you can see what's germinated and what hasn't. Growing your own growing your own seedlings from seeds is all about patience, and it's also about persistence. It's really important that you check the dryness of your soil and just keep them moist. You don't want to keep them saturated, but you just want to keep them moist. But sometimes you think, oh no, it should already be germinated. They're not working, but they do. They just be patient, and you'll see eventually they'll sprout. And if they don't, as I said, just plant some more. Another thing I don't personally eat are chilies. I'm not a spicy food eater, but I'm growing them in hope to grow enough to be able to make some like hot sauces or things that I need chilies in. But a lot of my kids eat them too. When you're starting out in growing vegetables, you get really excited and you just want to grow everything. Um, don't grow what you're not going to use or what you've got no need for, because then it's just a waste of your time and garden space. I do, however, try and grow something different that I've never grown before every year, and that's whether sometimes I've never even tried the vegetable before because it's something different that we're not used to. But yeah, just give some things a go, and then if you don't like them, just never grow them again. Simple, really. But you just sometimes end up with the leftover seed. But you could gift them to somebody. If you're someone who's just starting out in gardening, um, it it's not something. It's something you need to have a lot of patience with. It's also something that you don't try and give up on too easy. Like, we have our good years and bad years. For example, usually every year I grow a real big abundance of zucchini. Last year, my zucchini, I got enough, but not as much as I usually do. I find that tomatoes are one of the easiest things to start off with. They don't always, they don't always work, but they're pretty easy to grow. Here's this garden after all the weeds have been removed. Because of the weed pressure, it killed the majority of my onions. Um, but that's a lesson learned. It's also the reason my garlic hasn't done well this year. It's just hasn't been looked after properly. Here's my pea harvest, well, some of them. Another bit of advice is always research what you can grow next to each other. Apparently, you shouldn't plant peas next to garlic or onions because it can stunt the growth. Yeah, they were right. But also, I overplanted my peas, so just scattered the seeds and thought, oh yeah, whatever. But that actually it gave it, it got a lot of mould on some of the peas that I actually had to just rip out. Now, peas are one of these plants that you need to grow a lot of plants to be able to get a really good harvest. However, the more peas you pick, the more that they'll also produce. So you just keep on top of it. Oh wow, one's ready to pick, Nelly. So we have some sweet potatoes and we're going to put them in the water because that actually helps them sprout. But they say to put the pointy end down. Which is the pointy end? That one? Oh, that one. So we're going to go with that one. Let's see how we go. Oops, daisy. And it goes, without getting to the curtain, up like that. And we've got this one. See? Is that the pointy end? Or is that the pointy end? I think that's the flat end. So there's two of them there. But these two that I'm going to try the soil method, which I'll show you that. So here I have 2 meat trays that it's been well washed, and I've also put some holes in the bottom for drainage. So you half fill that with some soil. And you want to water the soil because it needs to be rather damp, not saturated but damp. Lay your sweet potatoes in the soil, but don't fully cover them. Just like this. Both ways I've showed you with the sweet potatoes also takes a lot of patience. It takes a while till you see any sprouting. I'm back at the broccoli again. I have never been successful growing broccoli before. This was back in 2015, which was my closest to ever being successful. However, this is what happens when the cabbage moth lay their eggs. Here's the little caterpillars that have hatched. I have tried again and again over the last 9 years, and they usually go to seed. But here we are this year. But the problem is, I've better pick them now because what I can see under the leaves, there's all these weird bugs. So I'm not chancing it this year. Look at that!
Yay.
I can't see anything crawling in it, so I don't think we've got cabbage moth. Beauty. Here's my lovely little harvest. I took them inside and I did put them into a sink full of water with some vinegar in it. So if there's any bugs in there, they'll come out. I had a lovely little harvest this day because I also got some carrots and I harvested the last of my peas. And as you'll see here, with all the peas I planted, this is what I got, 4 little snack sizes for the freezer. But I'm happy with that. It's now the 29th of October. Let me show you where we're up to. The bees are loving this lavender. Oops, sorry. So we have some beautiful dianthus flowering there, and the snapdragons are starting to flower. And this rose, this beautiful rose we bought for my mother-in-law when she passed away, and she's coming out to bloom. We've covered all this bed to stop the weed pressure coming up. That of course needs a clean up, but that's okay. We need to reweed this again. and we got to top it up with some fresh compost. Cabbages are all covered still, thank goodness, because there's lots of cabbage moth coming out. Trying to get this through here, but this one here is really starting to head up nicely. Got a good shot. This one is ready. Woohoo! These beds are going to be all revamped. I'm pulling everything out of them, transplanting what I can, except I don't want the stingy middle. I've taken all the peas out now. The garlic's not looking great. We still might get some if we're lucky. I'm really sorry about the traffic. It's all getting rust or something. But this garlic's looking alright, and that's elephant garlic. Plenty of carrots still going. Cleaned up all here for me. And all down here. He's still got this little bit to go. But we got all the broccoli out and weeded this garden, and that's ready for some new crops. Here we've got a lot of beetroot. We've got more carrots. I've never done so well with carrots. But they're nearly ready. They're getting there. What do we got? Hang on. No, she's not ready. No, they've still got some more growing to do. Needs water. These ones were planted earlier though. I just tend to look around the bottom. Pull that away a bit. But look, they're looking pretty reasonable. Look at them. Maybe you can see it. Look. Rose. It's all being cleaned up thanks to Brian. He's weeded all this for me. I'm getting that all nice and that all nice. And this little bucket. Whew, it's warm. They all need a water. Look at some seeds. There's the little ones there. It's definitely steamy in here. I'll come water them in a sec. Oh, sunflowers. All sunflowers that Mum and I planted a few days ago. Self-seeded spinach. Or silverbread, I'm not sure. Self-seeded tomatoes, I'm not sure which variety they are because I've just replanted them. They're ones I just bought, and that's okay. And they're our sweet potato going there at the moment. Nothing's flowering. Nothing's shooting yet. Sprouting, that word. A fuchsia I bought for Mum. And some more little dianthus, I think. Yeah, and these are really going to go in. Got some zucchini. Getting a bit big for the pots. Just sat here watering, and I don't know how I missed this before. Fuck. Look at garlic scapes. Woohoo! Which means these ones should be ready to harvest in about 4 weeks. That's about it for the garden video for October. That's all we get to in November. Thanks for watching. See you again.